Hello everyone, my name is Kassandra Reinhardt, and today we'll be doing a 30-minute practice focusing on developing lower body strength. So really working at strengthening the legs, glutes, and hamstrings. Let's start in a child's pose, bringing the big toes to touch, knees falling apart, and allowing the chest to drop down towards the mat. Try to soften the jaw here, drawing the shoulder blades down the back, and taking deep breaths in and out through the nose. Soften your shoulders as much as you can, allowing the hips to be heavy towards the heels. Take your last 2 deep breaths right here. Finding deeper opening into the inner groin. And now come on up into a tabletop pose, palms underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and we'll stretch out the calf and ankle. So step your right foot back and press into your right heel. Getting a nice stretch into the Achilles tendon. Switch sides, bring your right knee back in, reach your left leg out, press into your left heel. Keep the hips and shoulders leveled. Back to tabletop pose, step your right foot forward in between your palms, finding a low lunge. And let's just keep our fingertips down on the ground for this one. Try to lift your chest a little bit so that you can drop your hips a little lower. Making sure that your ankle is underneath the knee. Trying not to hold your breath here. Take a runner's lunge as you curl your toes under and lift your back knee off the mat. Try to keep only the tips of your fingertips touching down onto the ground. So you need to engage your core a little bit here as you lift your lower belly off of that front thigh. Plant your palms, find your high plank pose. Take deep belly breaths here as you reach your heart forward, pointing the tailbone towards the heels, one long line from the crown of your head all the way down into your toes, into your heels. Coming back onto your knees, step your left foot forward, low lunge on the second side. Start with your back knee down on the ground, lift the chest, drop the hips. Shoulders down and away from the ears. Take your runner's lunge, curl your back toes under, lift your right knee off the mat. Fingertips stay down on the ground. Try to keep the chest lifted as much as you can. Back of the neck stays long, pressing into both feet evenly. Plant your palms and find your plank pose once more. Squeeze the inner thighs together, press into the heels. Fingertips are spreading wide. Lower abdominals hug in. Find your downward facing dog on the exhale. Feet are hip width distance apart. Curl your tailbone up, pressing the upper thigh bones back, and bend your knees as much as you need to. Maybe paddle the feet a little bit. Try to soften your neck, let your head be heavy. Pressing your chest towards your thighs. Walk your palms back towards the back of your mat. Find a ragdoll fold, bending your knees generously so that the upper body can drape over the legs. Maybe swaying gently from side to side as you rock the weight into the back of the heels, front of the feet. Relaxing the jaw, neck, shoulders, upper back. and then crawl it back into your downward dog. Finding even more length through the spine, maybe straightening the legs a little bit more as we start to open up the hamstrings. Look forward to the top of the mat and step your feet all the way up, wider than your hips. So about mat width distance apart. Keep your feet parallel. Start to bend your knees as you drop your hips, coming into bear pose. So you're trying to get your upper body parallel towards the ground, maybe even lifting and spreading all 10 toes to engage the arches of the feet. Reach your arms out to the sides, back of the neck stays long, so there's no need for you to look up too high. And feel the power of the legs in this pose as you bend your knees even more, reaching your heart forward so you're not collapsing or contracting through the chest. And then plant your fingertips down, straighten the legs and fold. Bend your knees as you roll all the way up to stand. Standing at the top of the mat, big toes come to touch. Heels are an inch or so apart. On an inhale, let's reach our arms up, bring your palms to touch, look up. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips and fold. Inhale, halfway lift and step your right foot all the way back. Drop your right knee down onto the ground. Inhale, arms reach up, palms come to touch. Exhale, plant your palms, find your downward facing dog. Taking a flow from here, inhale, come forward into plank pose. And then exhale, lower all the way down onto your belly. Find your cobra, pointing your toes back, lifting chin and chest, elbows hug in. Exhale, release it back down and find your downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, let's reach our right leg all the way up and back. And then step your right foot forward in between your palms. Lower your left knee down onto the ground and find your low lunge on the second side, reaching the arms up, palms come to touch. Exhale, fingertips down, step to the top of the mat and fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold once more. Press to stand, come all the way up, bring your hands to touch. Exhale, hands at your heart, second side. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift as you step your left foot all the way back, dropping your left knee down. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, palms down, downward facing dog. Find your vinyasa as you inhale, come forward into plank pose, shoulders over the wrists. Exhale, lower onto your belly. Cobra on the inhale, keep the elbows bent, hips down. And then exhale back into your downward facing dog. Reach your left leg up and back. And then step your left foot forward in between your palms. Lower your right knee down onto the ground. Inhale, reach the arms up, low lunge. Exhale, fingertips come down, step to the top of the mat and fold. Halfway lift, inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, come all the way up, bring your hands to touch, and then exhale, hands at the heart. Come into chair pose. Bringing your big toes to touch, bend your knees, sink your hips. Keep your chest lifted up high here, hands at the heart. Tailbone is pointing down, bend your knees a little bit more. With control, lean into your left leg and start to hover your right foot off of the mat, just a couple inches. So you're standing on one leg only, and then step your right foot all the way back into your high lunge. Bend your left knee a little bit more, and let's take a twist from here. You'll bring your right elbow over the top of your left thigh. Try to keep your belly lifted off of that thigh as you press your palms towards the center of your chest, rolling your shoulder blades down your back and looking wherever is comfortable for your neck. Keep the back knee lifted, back leg is engaged and strong. Your obliques hold you up. Looking forward to the top of the mat, step all the way up, floating your right knee with you. Grab a hold of your right knee with your left hand and reach your right arm back, coming into a twist. So your hips are facing forward and your chest is opening up towards the long side of your mat. Stand up nice and tall. Come back through to center and then cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh. Bend into your left knee as you reach your hips back, standing pigeon. Heart comes forward And if you'd like to take this a little bit deeper, you can fold all the way down, fingertips on the mat. Keep your right foot flexed to help protect that knee, and you should be able to feel a really nice stretch through that right hip and right glute. Strong lower body, come all the way back up. Uncrossing your legs, big toes come to touch, find your chair pose once more. Bend your knees, sink your hips, keep your chest lifted, hands at your heart. Try to sink more weight into the heels. Lean into your right foot as you float your left foot off the mat, and then step your left foot all the way back into your high lunge, bending into your right knee once more. Take your twist, this time left elbow goes over the right thigh, pressing your palms together firmly as you roll your right shoulder back. Engage the obliques to help lift the upper body off of that right leg. Look wherever is comfortable for your neck. Try not to hold your breath. Let's come back up through to center into your high lunge, and then look forward and step to the top of the mat, bringing your left knee in with you. Grab a hold of your left knee with your right hand and reach your left arm back. Lower abdominals hug in to help you get a little bit more lift and length into your lower back so that tailbone points down and chest lifts up. Standing pigeon, come back to center, cross your left ankle over the top of your right thigh, bend into your right knee. Let your chest come forward as you reach your hips back and maybe start to drop your fingertips down towards the mat. Belly stays engaged. Come all the way back up. Uncross the legs, shake it out, standing at the top of the mat. Let's take a float. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold. Find your halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your palms, step or hop back, chaturanga. Upward dog on the inhale. Exhale, find your downward dog. And let's reach our right leg up towards the sky, bend your right knee and open up that hip. Keep your right shoulder pressing down, make sure it doesn't roll open. Spread through the toes, press into the ball of the foot, engage the glutes. Straighten and square your right leg and step that right foot forward in between your palms. Your back foot is at a 45-degree angle or so. Find your warrior one as you reach your arms up, bending into your right knee. Cactus the arms as you bend the elbows at a 90-degree angle, squeezing your shoulder blades behind your back, and then start to tilt forward. Keep the belly lifted over the thigh, so you need to engage your abdominals here to hold you up, still bending it deeply into your right knee. One long line from the crown of your head, pressing into your back heel. Take another breath. Press into both feet, lift back up, straighten your front leg, and bring your back foot in just a couple inches. As you inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And on the exhale, start to fold, finding your pyramid pose, but hold your flat back so your chest is parallel towards the ground. Pull right hip back, left hip forward, strengthening the hamstrings here. Try to keep the biceps close towards the ears, arms reaching forward. And then inhale, lift back up. Bring your right hand on your waist, and this time as you exhale, let's take revolve triangle. So drop your left palm down onto the mat, roll your right shoulder back, and maybe reach your right arm up. You can always use a block here if the floor is a little bit too far away. Look wherever is comfortable for your neck. Drop your fingertips down onto the mat, bend your right knee, find your standing splits as you reach your left leg all the way up and back. Take this out of the neck and shoulders Engage the hamstrings and glutes. Step it lightly back into your plank pose. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Upward dog as you breathe in. Exhale, downward facing dog. And we'll go and do that same sequence over on the second side. So reach your left leg up and back and bend your left knee to open up that hip. Keep your left shoulder pressing down, pressing your chest towards your thighs, maybe dropping the right heel a little bit closer towards the mat. Step your left foot forward in between your palms, warrior one. So your back foot is at a 45-degree angle. You're bending into your left knee and reaching your arms up. Square off your hips with your shoulders. Bend your elbows, cactus arm variation here. So broaden through the chest as you start to tilt forward. Feel the lower abdominals hug in to help support the lower back. Find that nice diagonal line as you keep bending into your left knee so that the hips will drop a little bit more. Feel the glutes engage here. Really powerful pose. Let's come back up. Find your pyramid pose as you straighten your front leg. Bring your back foot in. Inhale, arms reach up, squaring off the hips. And as you exhale, fold halfway until your upper body comes parallel to the ground. Back of the neck stays long. You're only looking a few inches in front of you. Keep pulling right hip forward, left hip back. Press into both feet, lift up. Find revolve triangle, left hand on your waist. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, drop your right fingertips down. Roll your left shoulder back and maybe start to reach your left arm up. Again, use a block if you need to here. Focus on your foundation first, solidly pressing into both feet, your twist second, and the extension with the arm third. Start to look down, bring your palms onto the mat, find your standing splits as you reach your right leg all the way up and back. You're balancing on your left leg. Fingertips stay light on the mat. And step it back into your high plank pose. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few deep breaths in your downward facing dog. Pressing into the heels, softening the neck. Spreading the fingertips wide. Look forward and step or hop both feet in between your palms. Find your halfway lift when you get there, flat back. Exhale, fold all the way down. And then press to stand. Both arms reach up overhead, palms come to touch. Exhale, draw the hands to the center of the chest. Find your chair pose, bend your knees, sink your hips. Keep the hands at the heart and we'll come into a twist. So your left elbow will cross over the top of your right thigh. Make sure your left knee doesn't inch past the right. Roll your right shoulder down and away from the ear. Keep the hips sinking down low. And start to lean into your right foot a lot so that you can lift your left foot off the mat and step it all the way back into your high lunge, maintaining your twist. So you're bending into your right knee, left leg is straight. Look wherever works for you for your balance. Keep the belly lifted off of the thigh. Press firmly into both feet and lift the arms up, come back through to center. As you exhale, bend your left knee, reach your arms back, and inhale to straighten and lift. Exhale, tap that back knee down. Inhale up. Exhale, tap and hover the back left knee. Inhale, lift the arms up. And then drop your left knee down onto the mat, finding a low lunge. Keep your left palm down onto the mat and take a quad stretch as you draw your left heel in towards the hips using your right palm. And keep rolling that right shoulder back so there's a little bit of a twist. Release the stretch and make your way into pigeon pose. So toe heel your right foot all the way over towards the left side of your mat so that your right knee is behind your right wrist. Extending your back leg behind you. Fold all the way down without leaning on one hip more than the other. Starting to unwind that tension through that right hip and glutes. Take deep belly breaths all the way into that right hip. Try to take this out of the shoulders and neck. Gradually inviting the hips to lower down a little bit closer towards the mat. And slowly lift yourself back up, and we'll make our way into our downward facing dog. Do any little movements you need to do here. And we'll go and do that same sequence over on the second side. Inhale, come forward into plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga. Upward dog on the inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look forward to the top of the mat. Step or hop both feet in between your palms. Find your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Come all the way back up. Palms reach overhead, hands come to touch. Exhale, draw them down. Second side, chair pose. Bend your knees, sink your hips. Put more weight into the heels. Lift the chest up higher and then find a twist. Right elbow over your left thigh. Pressing your palms together firmly. Keep the knees and hips in line. Feel the lower abdominals hug in and press towards the spine to help protect your lower back and to help you twist a little bit deeper into the pose. And let's find our high lunge as you step your right foot all the way back, maintaining your twist, rolling your left shoulder back. Trying not to hold the breath here. Lift the belly off the front thigh and then press into both feet really firmly. We're going to come all the way up into our high lunge. Stay really tall through the upper body. And then on the exhale, tap your right knee down, reach your arms back, inhale up. Exhale, bend your right knee, arms back. Inhale to straighten. Last one. Exhale, bend that right knee. Inhale, come back through to center, and then lower into your low lunge. Right palm down onto the mat. Take your quad stretch as you reach for your right heel. Focus on dropping the hips. Release, coming into pigeon pose. You'll bring your left knee behind your left wrist, extending your right leg back behind you. Square off the hips so you're not leaning on one more than the other, and then find your fold. And again here, take this out of the upper body, let gravity do the work for you, and allow yourself to be really heavy in the pose. We're not here for too long. Two more deep belly breaths. And then take your time, making your way back into your downward facing dog, lifting tailbone up towards the sky. And let's find our flow from here. Inhale into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Upward dog, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Press into the heels, chest towards the thighs, curling tailbone up. Look forward to the top of the mat. Step or hop both feet in between your palms. Find your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press to stand, come all the way back up. And then draw your hands at the heart. And let's step the legs open. Heels are turned in, toes are out. Bend your knees, sink your hips. So a variation of temple pose. Maybe sway a little bit from side to side, opening up the hips, and then drop your right shoulder down, roll your left shoulder back. Keep pressing into the inner thighs. Switch sides as you drop your left shoulder down and roll your right shoulder back. Sinking into the hips a little bit more. Coming back through to center, interlace your fingers and then flip your palms up overhead. Bend your knees a little bit more. Engage the glutes to help the knees open up so that they don't collapse inward. And if you'd like to take this deeper, start to lift your heels off of the ground. Maintaining that deep bend through the knees, let's release. Heels come back down onto the mat. Straighten your legs, turn your toes back in, interlace your fingers behind your lower back, and then find your fold as you reach your knuckles up and over. Make it a point to soften the neck here, and your shoulders are going to want to collapse towards the ears. Keep them pressing away. Try not to stick out the hips too much or lean into the heels. Keep the weight evenly distributed. And keep drawing those shoulder blades in. Let's release the arms. Inhale, halfway lift. Toe heel your feet about hip width distance apart or so. Finding your forward fold, grab a hold of your right big toes with your right fingers, lean into your left leg, and then slowly start to reach your right leg out towards the sides. So a really challenging pose here. Make sure you're not holding your breath. You can always use a block if the floor is too far away. You need to squeeze and engage the glute to help lift that leg up a little bit more. And with control, lower down. Let's go and switch sides. Grab a hold of your left big toe. Start to lean into your right foot and right fingertips, and then extend that left leg out to the side. Engaging the obliques a little bit here. Try not to bend the knees too much. Keep that leg drawing forward and soften back down. Lower yourself down to seated with your legs stretched out in front of you, and cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh, and then bend your left knee. So this is a seated pigeon variation. You bend your left knee as much as you need to. The closer you get your right foot towards the chest, the deeper this will be. Try to stay lifted up tall so you're not rounding forward. And let's release. Bring your right foot to the inside of your left thigh. On an inhale, reach both arms up towards the sky, and as you exhale, fold. Hinging at the hips, trying not to use too much force here. Let gravity pull you deeper into the pose as you relax your neck, upper back, shoulders. Slowly come all the way back up. And let's find the second side. Cross your left ankle over the top of your right thigh, and then start to bend your right knee as you bring that knee in closer towards the chest, getting deeper into your left hip. And you can just rock from side to side. Staying nice and tall, using your palms to support you here. And then release. Bring your left foot to the inside of your right thigh. Inhale, arms reach up, lengthen. Exhale, maintain that length as you fold. Five very deep breaths on the side. Start to walk your palms back in, lift the upper body up. Straighten both legs out in front and lay all the way down onto your back. Hug your right knee in towards your chest, extend your left leg out. And then bring your right knee across the left side of your body, taking a twist. Both shoulder blades stay down on the mat. And come back through to center, switch sides, draw your left knee in, reach your right leg out, pressing into that right heel. Take a twist, left knee crosses over to the right. Extend your left arm out so that you can keep that left shoulder glued to the mat. Deep breaths all the way into the lower back. Come back through to center and find Shavasana, our final resting pose. So stretch out, take as much space as you'd like. Coming back to a slow, comfortable pace of breath, and maybe allowing the eyes to close. Give yourself a few minutes to allow your body to really relax and integrate all the elements of your practice. When you are ready to get up and get on with your day, please do so slowly and mindfully. Remember that there's no rush. Thank you all so much for doing this class with me. I hope that you'll subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.